Hello and welcome to another developer update. I'm Straz from the VRChat team, here to talk to you about some exciting new features that will be heading your way very soon. This video is going to be a little different. Usually we focus on just one major feature, but this time we're going to be talking about three things we're really excited about getting in front of the community: groups updates, localization, and last but not least, imposters. Let's not waste any time and jump right into it. Up first, group updates. As we said back in November, the intention for groups was to release the bones of the system, and then over the next few months build on that foundation, adding in new features as we see fit. Originally, the plan was to quickly add search immediately after launch. However, after exploring things a bit more, we decided to prioritize a few other features ahead of it, including some specific features that were requested by the community. So let's talk about them. One of the biggest requests for groups at launch was more group-specific instance types. Well, you're getting them. We'll be adding in two new instance types, Groups Plus and Groups Public. Groups Plus instances will operate similarly to Friends Plus instances. Essentially, they are identical to Friends Plus instances in a lot of ways. If you're a friend of someone who is in the instance, you can join, even if you're not a group member. The major difference is that group moderators will be able to control and moderate the instance. This way, you can still enjoy many of the benefits of having a private group instance, but with the added benefit of letting in people who aren't part of that group to begin with. We feel that this feature might be specifically useful for those running events, or even for those who just want to have a less exclusive feeling environment. Or, simply put, if you're the sort of person that wants to stay on green, but might want a better sense of who you're interacting with, this feature might help you out. Groups Public are, you guessed it, like public instances, except once again, group moderators can control and moderate them. This way, groups can host their own moderated and special interest public instances, and they'll be visible alongside other public instances. This way, you can host a public event and keep things, well, a little less chaotic. Finally, the next major feature we'll be adding in is group queues. Ever wanted to join an instance but it was full? What if you could just get in line instead? If you now attempt to join a full instance, you'll have the option to join a queue instead of getting the dreaded "instances full" error message. When space is available, VRChat will notify you and hold your spot, currently for 2 minutes, so that you can join. No more getting sent home or spamming world join over and over to try and reach your friends. You'll be able to hop in the queue and go do whatever until your spot in line is up. Of course, these aren't the only features that are coming to groups. We intend to continue to iterate and add features to groups throughout the rest of the year.
Hello, I'm Tupper and I'm here to interrupt Straws to talk about some more changes with how you join worlds. Along with the queue system that we've talked about previously, we are also making some changes to the soft cap and hard cap system. So if you're not aware right now, the capacity of a VRChat world, or how many people can fit into it, is determined by a value set by the world author called capacity. This value is set in the SDK when you upload the world, or on the website when you view that world. This value is then used as the soft cap, or the number of people that you see in the UI as the maximum, and not really the maximum, we'll get to that, in the world, like 12 out of 16 or something like that. When you're at or above the soft cap, the UI and a few other things change behavior accordingly, but it is not actually the maximum number of people allowed in the world. That number is the hard cap. The hard cap is the absolute maximum number of people allowed in an instance of your world. Right now, this is set to 2 times the capacity value that you set. So if you set your capacity to 40, then your soft cap is also 40, and then the hard cap is 80. 80 is also the maximum hard cap, so 40 is the maximum soft cap. But that's not it. There's a few more exceptions. The world author and the instance creator can always join that instance even if it's at hard cap, so the absolute maximum is 82. Or it would be if there weren't other exceptions for things like VRChat system level accounts. So yeah, this is confusing. We're changing stuff up. You'll now be able to define 2 explicit values, the recommended capacity and the maximum capacity. You could set these 2 separately instead of having one value rely on the other. Recommended capacity is the maximum number of users that you'd expect to be in the world for an ideal experience. You can kind of treat this the same way as the previous soft cap value. The UI and application will react in similar ways and change when you're past the recommended capacity. The maximum capacity value, however, can now be set discretely by you, and it no longer is tied to the soft cap or your capacity by being double. It just has to be greater than or equal to your recommended capacity and less than our maximum. If you want to set your recommended capacity to 20 and your maximum to 25, you can do that. Or you could set it to 20 and 80, or even make them the same, 20 and 20. You can also set it to 1 and 1, which changes the instance to a completely solo experience. So the UI is also going to change and show the maximum capacity instead of the recommended capacity when viewing an instance. We're still going to display the recommended capacity alongside the values, something like 20 out of 80, but with 40 in parentheses at the side. So you can also choose to set your maximum capacity to the global maximum. This global max is currently set by us, and it's 80 right now. If we ever increase the global max past 80, to be clear, this is not something we're doing anytime soon, then your world will automatically bump up to that number as the new maximum capacity. As before, world authors, instance creators, and other exceptions may drive your actual possible occupants past 80, so make sure you account for that in your Udon scripts. You'll also notice some nuanced changes to how we handle full instances. You'll no longer be able to invite someone to a full instance if you're in it, and if someone requests an invite from you while you are in a full instance, you'll be told that you can't send them an invite and be given a chance to reply with something like, "The instance is full, sorry." No more sitting in a loading screen for a minute only to get hit with a honk, error, and see, "Sorry, the instance is full." We'll have some more information available to you soon about these changes, so keep an eye on the text dev updates in our forums for more.
VRChat is enjoyed by people all over the world. It'd be fair to say that we have a pretty linguistically diverse community. Spend some time in a few random instances and you'll probably hear a few different languages. That's despite the fact that VRChat's UI isn't the friendliest to those that don't know English. Well, we're going to change that. Starting soon, we're going to be localizing the VRChat client. To start with, we'll just be localizing the quick menu and main menu tooltips. We'll eventually move on to the rest of the client, but for now, we're just going to focus on these parts first. We'll be focusing on a few languages to start with, but eventually we'll expand past that. However, we won't be doing this by ourselves. Instead, you, the community, will be able to help out. Here's how that's going to work. First, we're going to generate a bunch of machine translations for all the elements in our UI. This information will be our baseline. Then, through a platform called Crowdin, users will be able to make translation suggestions. While machine translation tends to be okay, it can be very literal or awkward. Longtime VRChat users, on the other hand, likely have a better idea of what things are called, or they might have developed colloquial names for things that are commonly used in their particular linguistic community that we don't know about. From there, those suggestions will be reviewed by proofreaders and some bilingual VRChat developers. Once they're approved, the changes will be queued up, ready to go for the next client release. We also want to think of a way to properly thank the translation volunteers who are submitting suggestions. But we aren't quite sure what we want to do just yet, and we really aren't sure what the time frame on that will look like. So keep an eye out, but we aren't quite ready to say anything concrete just yet. Crowdin is a pretty easy platform to use. For those interested in specifics, as well as a guide on how to start submitting suggestions, please check the link in the description. Finally, let's talk about something we've been diligently working on for the past year: imposters. In short, imposters are essentially like avatar body doubles, allowing people to see your avatar in situations when they'd usually just see a fallback avatar or a robot. That means that even if you've never uploaded a cross-platform version of your avatar, or if someone has you performance blocked, they'll still be able to see an imposter of your avatar. While these will one day be automatically generated, for now, they're created with the push of a button. Imposters aren't a mirror image of your avatar, but as you can see, they're pretty close. Up until now, we've used the fallback system, where you'd select a more performant cross-platform avatar that would appear when yours otherwise weren't available to be displayed. Yet, this wasn't a perfect system. In many cases, this fallback avatar won't look anything like your avatar, meaning that you wouldn't have a coherent identity to everyone you are interacting with. That can be confusing and frustrating for both you and the people you're hanging out with. Even if you have the technical knowledge to build a custom fallback or cross-platform avatar, you might just not have the time. Either way, the end result is that you're not able to be seen how you'd like to be seen. Wouldn't it be nice in those specific cases if you could just press a button and generate a cross-platform avatar based on whatever avatar you chose? We think so, which is why we built Impostors. Sometime in the next few months, we will be introducing Impostors into VRChat. This feature is being rolled out in stages, so think of this as a soft launch. Once this feature is live, you'll be able to generate an imposter for your avatar via the VRChat website. As a note, you will only be able to generate imposters for avatars that you own and have uploaded. Imposter generation should be pretty fast. Once your imposter has finished generating, you'll receive an email letting you know that it's ready. If for some reason the process fails, you'll also receive an email letting you know. Other users will only see your imposter if there is no other version of your avatar available for the platform they're on, or if they have you performance blocked. In the past, in these scenarios, users would instead see your fallback avatar. Now, however, they'll see your imposter. Unless, of course, you haven't generated an imposter for the current avatar you're using. If you prefer to use a fallback avatar instead, you still can do that. There's a simple toggle to turn them on or off. Likewise, if you want to see what your imposter looks like, you can toggle between your avatar's actual model and its imposter. One thing to keep in mind is that this is a soft launch. We're pretty happy with how imposters look and feel, but we're absolutely not to a finished product just yet. We fully anticipate that some imposters might look weird, might totally break, or might not even generate at all. We're going to be perfecting the system as time goes on until we're completely happy with it. As you can probably tell, we've been working on a lot of new features for VRChat. To say that this is only the tip of the iceberg would be putting it mildly. In the coming months, we're going to have a lot of really exciting things to share. As always, if you want to keep tabs on the development of VRChat, keep an eye out for videos like this. Likewise, every Thursday we release a weekly dev update on our Ask forums. If you're curious about what we're working on, that's the best way to stay in the loop. As always, thank you for loving VRChat as much as we do. We'll see you next time.